Hey, what's going on, guys? Another week of in-season training here. The season has beaten me up, as most seasons do, playing rugby at the ripe old age of 35 with all these young guns out there. This week was battling the neck stinger that I got in that game. The first picture of this video was from that game against Albuquerque. Made tons of really good tackles, and then on a very routine tackle, head got bent the wrong way, got a neck stinger. Stingers are basically just irritation of the brachial plexus nerve. They heal on their own for the most part, but it does shut down some force production to the affected limb, which kind of sucks. That being said, I was doing my full body push-pull scheme this week. All my game weeks I've been running that, so squats and presses and then deadlifts and pulls. This workout did front squats to start. I did a 10 rep at 225 challenge that another YouTuber posted. I put that in a short. It was fun. It was easy on the legs, easy on cardio, honestly. But the front rack was slipping because the left shoulder felt weird because of the neck stinger. So kind of sucked. Then I did some pause reps. I like the pause reps when I'm not feeling the greatest because it's a way that I can keep the relative intensity high and the relative loading low. Okay, so actually before the 10 rep set, I worked up to a double at 255 in a pause rep as well, and I think I probably could have worked up to like 275, 285, hit the shoulder and front rack felt a little better, but whatever, we do what we can do. These pause back squats I'm keeping in there at lighter weights, working anywhere between 7 to 9 reps on those, probably 2 to 3 reps in reserve on those sets. The purpose behind that is a little bit more volume work, but more so than that, just kind of rebuilding that back squat form so that when the time is right and we start putting weight back on the bar and our body doesn't feel like it's been beaten to death by a 2x4 after rugby games, we start getting some big weights in the back squat. When I was done with the squats, I did some pin bench press, which felt terrible on the left shoulder, so I just did some doubles on that at 225, kind of lame. Then I did some hypertrophy work for triceps, which I didn't tape. I am going to put in this neck routine that I like to do pretty much whether I'm injured or not in season. So it's basically supersets of neck extensions, band pull-aparts, and then seated Lou raises. The Lou raises meaning like the full range of motion lateral raises. It just torches all the muscles of the neck extensors. It gets the traps and it gets the side delts pretty well. So you guys will get to watch me work through that. That was the entire workout for that day. I didn't really have a lot of residual soreness after that because none of the stuff that I did was hard enough to draw any soreness. It sucks, but you know, you're battling the fatigue, you're battling injuries and stuff like that, and you have to be fresh for the games, right? You can't be in situations where it's like, I decided to push through injuries in training and now I can't play in the game. Like that defeats the purpose, right? So when I was done with this workout, I moved on the next day to the full body pull workout, which basically, like I said, consists of my deadlifts and some sort of pull-up row type variation. The deadlifts were definitely affected by the stinger, right? Because it's a lot of bracing you have to do in the posterior chain, starting from the neck all the way down to the butt, basically. So as I got to the heavier weights, 365 basically was my limit, where I started feeling a little pain in that left arm, left shoulder, and the neck region. So cut it off after a couple singles there. Did some back off volume sets with 315, really just kind of focusing on my deadlift form, trying to get that quick extension of the knees instead of like wrapping the knee around like I do in a clean pull or, like my clean form. I don't think it's the end of the world if you pull a deadlift like a clean, but I think that you can be a lot more efficient when you pull it the correct way like that. So again, frustrating for me to know that like my level is way higher than this, but the end goal is rehab, right? So I moved on here to some weighted back extensions. Even holding these dumbbells like that, the left shoulder was not really happy. So that kind of sucked. I did a bunch of those for volume for the glutes, hamstrings, low back. After that, I did some prone dumbbell rows. These were only 45-pound dumbbells. Anything more, and I felt like that left arm was kind of lagging behind the right, which again was like pissing me off to no end. So I decided pick a weight that was light, do a bunch of reps with it. So I think I ended up doing like 6 or 7 sets of 10 to 12 reps with that, focusing on just squeezing the shoulder blades together versus like feeling the lats. Pull-ups were a no-go. My body was biasing the pull-up towards the right side. That's what tends to happen with like moderate to severe stingers, because the body is shutting down force production to protect your nerves. I did some dead bugs here, which again is just kind of filler BS to me. But again, do what you can do. And I know I sound super negative. I don't like being injured, and I like training hard, but I also like performing really well in rugby. I'm 35. I don't take injectable vitamins, so I have to remind myself that I'm no longer a spring chicken, if you will. Now I'm done with the dead bugs, more creative neck work, holding this isometric hold here with the red band around my head, simultaneously doing the banded pull-aparts, just really focusing again on keeping that neck tight, stuff like that, getting blood flow to the region. And there's really nothing you can do to speed up, quote unquote, the healing of a stinger. You just got to wait for it to heal. But some more pictures from that Albuquerque game, me and my boys eating a little bit of food. There really was no working out after that Tuesday workout, guys. I did some cardio stuff, some conditioning that I didn't take, some sled pushing at work. Practiced on Thursday, took Friday off. Then I just played another rugby game yesterday. I played 60 minutes. My body is completely beaten to death yet again. Here is my post-game recovery workout. Believe it or not, even with all the contact yesterday, the stinger feels like it's at about 80%. I got a brief little tap on the left shoulder, which kind of sent it into pain. You guys will see these pull-ups. I still kind of am biasing towards the right just a little bit, but not really that bad. We definitely are doing well as a team. Looking like we'll be either the number 2 or the number 3 seed heading into playoffs. We got one team on our mind that we're going to beat. I'm not going to name them in this video. I'll name them when we beat them. That's about all she wrote, guys. Thanks for watching. Another fun week of training. Hopefully you guys got something out of this, working around injuries, doing what you can do. There's no excuses, baby. Have a good one. See you next time.